Hare Krishna. So many a times devotees have this, not many a times, rather all the times, almost every devotee has this question. Why my mind is getting distracted while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Yes, everyone has. There are reasons, but the most important reason is where we are engaging our mind the entire day, that will decide where our mind will get distracted. If you feed the mind with more and more mode of passion, then it will get distracted. It will think about those activities. If you engage your mind in mode of ignorance, then it will become like that. If you engage your mind in mode of goodness, then it will have that kind of thoughts. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajyante kalevaram tam tam eveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. It is bhava. It is the consciousness which is more important. Krishna is not telling Arjuna to not fight. Rather, Arjuna never wanted to fight. The Krishna is telling, no, do your duty. But how? Mamanusmarana yuddhacha. You perform your duty, which is to fight. But Mamanusmarana, remembering me, thinking about me. So while we are engaged in our jobs, in our business, in our studies, in our household activities, in any activity, when we are engaged in this material world, we have to constantly think about Krishna and engage ourselves in the duty, as a duty, not as with the thought that I'm the doer, but as a duty. Then what will happen? Then we will not get attached. What your job demands? Your job demands that you should use your intelligence at the job. Yes, so use your intelligence, use your body. No need of using soul, definitely not. No need of using mind. Because whatever you feed to your mind, it goes to consciousness and it gets stored and it will come out the next day while chanting or the next day while chanting. So what are the thoughts? Have you observed what kind of thoughts we are getting? Whatever we have done yesterday or day before yesterday or a week before, wherever we have invested our mind, those kind of thoughts, they come. Because we have invested, we have focused there. Hanumanji, when he went to Lanka, so much anxiety and stress he would have had. He has to overcome all the obstacles. The target is to find Sita. So he comes to Lanka, so many problems, so many obstacles on the way also, in the Lanka also. Finally, he finds Mother Sita and she's not convinced. He has to convince. And then he destroys Lanka. But all his activities were happening as a service to Sri Ram. So one may say this was direct service to Sri Ram. So all our duties, all our materialistic duties can become service when we perform remembering Krishna. So mind, if you are investing, if you are engaging the mind in material thought, then it will give you same material thought next day while chanting. Suppose you are coming on your scooter from office and the tire of your vehicle got punctured. Okay, it happens. Why we are engaging our mind? We have to engage our intelligence, find out where the mechanic is. Either you keep the vehicle, park the vehicle somewhere, find out, but all the way you chant. Remember the pastimes of Lord. Remember the verses of Bhagavad Gita. Remember what instructions were given to Krishna, by Krishna to Arjuna. Remember what are the instructions given in Srimad Bhagavatam? So many wonderful pastimes in Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. But how can we remember that? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So that is why it is very important for us to do Shravan. It is not just 2 hours of chanting. This rest of the 22 hours is actually foundation for our chanting. Is actually a rehearsal for our chanting. So in 22 hours, what are we feeding to our consciousness? If we are feeding thoughts related to Krishna, then while chanting, thoughts will come related to Krishna. Imagine you are chanting and the mind is going and swimming in the verses of Bhagavad Gita, in the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So amazing. It's coming spontaneously. We are not thinking. So that means there is our consciousness. We have to decide where we invest our consciousness. Our materialistic duty may need our intelligence, may need our body, but definitely not the mind. So mind must always be engaged in Krishna's service, in thinking about Krishna. That is why it is very good if we can read every day Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. The more we read, the more our mind gets absorbed in those literatures. Otherwise, mind is like a crow for a conditioned soul. You see, crow, what it does, it tries to find out garbage, the filthy place. A crow will try to find the dead rat, and it will go and suck the juice from the body of the rat. It's a dead rat. That's crow. But swan is a beautiful bird, likes to be always in the clean place. It will find out a lake, a riverside, and spend the time there. So right now our mind is like crow, very much attached to materialistic things, and that is what we are getting back while we are chanting. That's what is coming. So our mind has to become swan. And how it will become? What you start feeding. If you continue feeding, if you continue to feed the material thoughts, material activities to your mind, to your consciousness, that is what they will reflect. It's not really, if you see, it's not the mistake of mind. We should not blame. It's our mistake. We have to consciously put efforts to give spiritual thoughts to the mind, and gradually the material thoughts will go in the background and eventually vanish. So it is up to us. So we have to put that effort. So these 2 hours of chanting, for these 2 hours of chanting, we have to put effort how we spend our rest of the 22 hours. The more we get absorbed in materialistic things, the more we will see that mind is getting distracted to material things. The more we absorb in spiritual things, the mind will be focused chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Mind will become a devotee. So we have to perform duty. That's perfectly all right. But duty should be performed not with the mood of a doer, but with the mood of a servant. As a duty, I'm performing my duty. It's my job, it's my business, it's my house, it's my family. I have to take care. It's my school, my college. I will take care. It's my duty. But as a duty. Ma manusmrana yuddhacha. And always remember, imagine if you read Bhagavad Gita half an hour before you go to office or before you go to college, what will happen? When you meet people, you will talk about Bhagavad Gita. It's very natural. If you read news and go, then you will discuss about news. Nowadays, people want to be updated. Oh, I also want to speak in public when 10 people are sitting in the lunch table. I also want to speak. No, if you read Bhagavad Gita, you will speak Bhagavad Gita. Let them speak news and you connect everything with Bhagavad Gita. And while you're working also, you may get some praises, you may get, some blames, some insults, but you will be completely detached. It will happen gradually, but it will happen. You'll become completely detached. Yudhishthir Maharaj was not sitting and chanting 24 hours Hare Krishna mantra. Externally, internally, yes, he had a kingdom. Every one of us have small kingdoms. But Yudhishthir Maharaj's kingdom was the entire planet. He has to take care of so many things, so much management. But how he was always completely absorbed in Krishna's activities, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's names, Krishna's forms. So we can do that. It is possible. We have to use intelligence and body in material thing, but mind and soul and consciousness always 24 hours in spiritual activities. So please chant, read, hear as much as you can, because this will become input and that will lay the foundation for our next day's chanting. You will see that whatever thoughts are coming, just observe what kind of thoughts, something which has happened yesterday or in the last week. If we, watch movies or videos, then our thought will go like that. If we read Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, then our thought will go in that direction. So it's very important to give a lot of input, a lot of spiritual positive input. People talk about positive vibes. This will create positive vibes. And you will spread positive vibes all across the world. So take as much as possible input of spiritual substance, like chanting, like reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, hearing lectures, hearing Kirtan, and very important, prasad, an association of devotees. Then you will see how your chanting will eventually improve, and you will be able to sit at one place and chant 16 hours without much distraction. It is possible. It is. Otherwise, why Krishna would say that you chant attentively? This word has no meaning if it is not possible. It is possible. We have to practice. We have to be determined. We have to be enthusiastic. Utsaha, Nishchay, and have patience. Dhairyat. So let us start by giving a lot of positive spiritual substance to the mind and the consciousness, and it will reflect back on those spiritual substance while chanting. Hare Krishna. Shri Harinam Prabhu ki jai.